It's time now for a look at the press review with Diptyque Laurent. Now, Diptyque, you're starting off in Ireland. It's 50 years today since the bombings in Dublin and Monaghan by loyalist paramilitaries. So what's the Irish Daily saying today, 50 years later?
Well, Yenka, let's start with this from the Irish Independent. So just to give you a bit of history, on May 17th, 1974, there was the third day of a strike led by the Ulster Workers' Force in Ireland. 4 car bombs planted by loyalist paramilitaries in Dublin and Monaghan killed 33 people and an unborn child. And injured hundreds more people. Let's show you then how the papers covered it. This is actually from May the 18th, the day after those attacks. The Irish Independent calling it Our Bloody Friday, the Monaghan and Dublin attacks occurring on a Friday, May 17th, 1974. And this reference, of course, to the Bloody Friday Belfast bombings that occurred just 2 years earlier. This from another paper, the Northern Standard, which simply says a very sad 17th of May on its front page. And
tell us more about how Irish dailies are covering it today, 50 years later.
Well, this is from the Irish Daily Mail in its edition today, the day that the Troubles moved south. The paper recalling that this was really the first attack that marked marked the fact that the conflict was moving south of Belfast. Ireland and the rest of Ireland at the time were separated by a very hard border. People in the south, the paper says, were lulled by a false sense of security that it could never occur, that it could never happen there. The car bombs also went off in peak hour. The attack to date is still the deadliest in history in the Republic of Ireland. As you see in the Irish Daily Mail today, taking us through the hours after the attack and the days preceding the bombings, notably the signing by the British and Irish governments a few months earlier for a limited power sharing system to address issues affecting the whole of the island. And this was really one of the main gripes among loyalists. They were furious that the Irish government would have any say at all in Northern Irish affairs.
And Diptyque, here in France, Libération explains on its front page why and how it managed to publish Emmanuel Macron's Payslip.
That's right. That article was actually published on Thursday, the article in which Libération published Emmanuel Macron's Payslip. Public knowledge of presidential payslips has been a contentious issue here in France for several years. So this is the article that was published on Libé on Thursday. In the name of transparency, they published Emmanuel Macron's payslip, and in it you can see that he earns about 14,500 euros per month before tax. The paper saying that thanks to a former journalist and persistent researcher, they were able to obtain a document that is very much a document that should be accessible. The Élysée Palace has been long hesitant to reveal these kind of details, and the paper says it really symbolizes a quest for transparency that citizens, the challenges that citizens face in their quest for transparency when facing the opacity of public administration. So today, a day later, the paper on its front page explains how and why it managed to obtain the payslip and why it's so important in the larger quest for the obtention of public documents that can be often quite sensitive but totally accessible to the public. The paper saying that in its edition, this is from this Friday, it says it refers to the Declaration of Human Rights of 1789, which determined that citizens have the right to hold their elected officials to financial accountability. It is also perhaps little known, but French citizens can access a whole trove of different documents. The salaries of any government ministers, for instance, government contracts, reports pertaining to the environment, pollution, and so forth. In reality, though, the process is much more complicated than it should be, and it is peppered with obstacles, Libération says, notably authorities who drag their feet on delivering these documents for a whole variety of reasons. Yinka.
And staying in France, France's Ford Coppola has premiered his passion project, Megalopolis, in Cannes yesterday to mixed reviews.
That's right. Before I get into the reviews, the Washington Post today kind of explaining the process between this film, a passion project, his life's work, some might say, the most ambitious project of his career that had been rewritten up to 300 times in 40 years. He wrote, produced, directed, and financed this opus that premiered at Cannes on Thursday. 2 mixed reviews, as you said. No film will ever be universally adored, of course, but Megalopolis, a futuristic epic about the downfall of American society, has divided moviegoers and the critics. Some moviegoers saying it was awesome, others saying it was pure nonsense. This is from The Guardian, which called it mega bloated and mega boring, while the Times of London called it a head-wrecking abomination, also calling it on its website Mega-flopolis. It's been eviscerated by some of the British press. Nonetheless, many say, despite the critics, it's still something you have to see. So I think ultimately Francis Ford Coppola is probably the big winner in this. After all press is good press, right?
Yeah, but still very disappointing. I was looking forward to watching that, maybe not now. But finally from you, a couple of friends in the UK have gone viral for a video they made of what they thought were the Northern Lights last weekend. Yeah,
in the short video that I'll show you here, but I'll put the sound down because there are a few words that there's a bit of foul language in it. Anyway, the students Karim Akhtar and Sally Laurent talk about chasing what they thought were the Northern Lights in the sky last week. As you see, the lights in the sky were a vibrant purple, so they started chasing it, only to find out that it was a local low-cost Premier Inn hotel that had been illuminated in purple. The friends joke on their TikTok video about having been catfished by the Northern Lights, a very short video that has nonetheless been viewed over 6 million times on Twitter.
Wow, that is quite embarrassing. Tika Laurent, thank you so much for the press review.